Hi everyone and welcome to the introduction video for the second project which is LLM powered article analysis. In this video I'm going to be going through a brief overview of what we are going to do in the second project, how we are going to do it and what the second project is going to do. So let me begin by telling you the architecture and structure of this project. Now, just like in the previous project, we are going to be using Streamlit and OpenAI API key. But the new package or module that we'll be using this time is called Beautiful Soup. Now, Beautiful Soup is a package that we can use for web scraping, which basically means to get information and data from websites online or even URLs which we can input and we can get data from web scraping. Now, Beautiful Soup can be used for web scraping and extracting data from these URLs. And Beautiful Soup is also used to deal with HTML. So now let me talk about what we're going to be doing with Beautiful Soup. Now, first let me tell you about what the project itself is going to do. We are going to make a Streamlit UI in which we can put the URL of any news article website, and Beautiful Soup is going to scan the website and get important information about the particular news and its article, and we're going to get it as data. Now, in any website which has a news article, it will be made in HTML and it will have extra data in it, such as script, the style, the footers, the titles, etc. But we only want the main text. So, Beautiful Soup will help us to filter this unnecessary tags and only give us the important text which is going to be in paragraphs. Next, let me talk about how we're going to give our UI memory. Now, we are going to be giving our UI memory so that it can remember what URL was selected and it can use the same URL multiple times. Now, when we're using anything else, it's going to have to do a separate run each time since it does not need to recall it again and again. But since we're using a URL, it's going to have to recall it again to scan the data and take information. So we are going to be giving the UI memory by using something in Streamlit called as session state. Now, session state will make sure that each time the project is run, it's going to remember all the URLs that we put in until the Streamlit is cancelled. Next, let me talk about how the project is going to work. Now, first, we're going to use Beautiful Soup to get filtered text. Then, we are going to ask any question about the particular article and we can get an answer. Now, but we'll also be using strict constraints, which will be such as prompt templates, and we'll also be saying what type of information it can give and filtering it out. And at the end, the user is going to get an answer to their question, which is based on the data received from the article. Next, let me talk about how it's going to handle the real world. Now, sometimes there's going to be a lot of issues, such as the data that we receive from the article will not be enough. And sometimes the article might not even have paragraph tags which have text, because sometimes people use article tags itself. Now we are going to make it so that anytime it's less than 500 characters or there's any particular error, instead of crashing, it's going to tell what the error is and it'll allow us to fix it. Next, let me talk about the workflow. So first, we're going to be putting the URL. Then Beautiful Soup, as I said, it's going to clean and filter the data. Then the st.session state, which is Streamlit, is going to keep the data or URL in its memory. And now we'll be giving a prompt template, and through that, the API is going to generate an answer. And at the end, we're going to get the output. Now, let me talk about the key takeaways from this project. Now, UI is very different from Beautiful Soup, and we are going to be separating properly using files. And then we also have something called as data hygiene. Now, data hygiene is basically what you think it is, and it's like cleaning and filtering the data. And that's why we're using Beautiful Soup here. Next, we have something called as cost optimization. Now, as I said in the previous introduction video for the first project, every time we use an API key, it generates a particular amount of tokens, which will be converted into characters. Now, we only have a particular quota for the amount of tokens that we can use. We're going to make it so that we do not use too much characters and do not lose too many tokens in our quota. Now, let me talk about the foundation and how this is going to be the stepping stone to retrieval augmented generation. Now, first, let me talk about what retrieval augmented generation is. Now, there is something in LLMs called as NLP, which is natural language processing. Now, this is mainly used in translation since it's going to convert any natural language into binary form and then convert that into another language and give it back to us as output. Now, retrieval augmented generation is basically going to retrieve data from other websites and it's going to scan the web and get particular data and make it into a strict filtered output for us. Now, using something like this makes it the stepping stone for retrieval augmented generation as we are taking data from a website and we are allowing the user to ask questions, summarize the data, or even modify the data. So, this is it for the introduction video of the second project, and I will see you in the main files and project where we will be making the code. See you there.